Tourmaline Beach. I'm Bob Berryhill, original founding member of the Surfaris, author of Wipeout, Surfer Joe, about 25 other songs, all related to surfing. Started surfing when I was 13 years old, and just been doing that my whole life. Introduced my wife back here, Jean Berryhill. She's been surfing with me since we were about 17. And then my son Devin, who started surfing before he could walk, on the front of a surfboard like many of you did out here. And we're going to play a little surf music written in 1963. It's called Pipeline! Now, what do? When you walk in a recording studio when you're 15 years old and you record Surfer Joe? Okay, it's a vocal, slow song, and they go, you know, we need something upbeat, up-tempo, you can snap your fingers to. So Ron Wilson, drummer of the Surfaris, starts playing this little drum roll called the one drum roll that everybody's heard around the world, and on Wipeout, and I go, well, I better put some chords to it, change the key to B from A and E, which is what we always played in, and then moved it to a little thing, made a little melody thing going, and then 15 minutes later you played about 3 times, you got a hit song, and that's like December of '62, and then about June of '63, suddenly it's #1 in the world, and you're traveling with Roy Orbison, the Beach Boys, Paul and Paula, and everybody else. It's like being with the pro surfers, you know, it's like you started out just a grommet, and then suddenly you're up at Pipeline, you know what I mean? Doing the 30-foot drop, you know what I mean? When you're only 15 years old. So I know what it's like to start off from scratch like Larry did back in the days when you didn't know what the heck you were doing. You just tried it and it worked. And so here we are today celebrating a man who's just, you know, was there for the world, there for spiritual life, knowing that God was in control, and his life was a great blessing to us all. We're going to do the one that kind of got it started for me. And I know Mike out here knows how to say the laugh, yell the laugh on Wipeout, but we'll have to have him do it out there. I think Mike can do it. Okay, so on the count of 3, we're going to yell Wipeout. Ready? 1, 2, 3, Wipeout! So much. We thought we'd get things warmed up with a little bit of surf music, and then we're going to bring up the next person.
Wipeout. We got Chuck Mannion. Where are you, bro? Chuck Mannion to the stage. Do we got a mayor?
There's the beach. Oh, wait, I was going to look at it. I know you're doing the actual.
around. Wow, this is like so cool to be here today, and my husband loves to wear Hawaiian wear. I said, honey, this is finally the time that you can wear your flower shirts and shorts. And he's like, are you sure? If my wife says so, I said, yeah, if I say so, this is it. So great to be out here this morning. Can you imagine San Diego beaches without surfers? Look at this. There's no way. You can't imagine. One goes with the other. And it is the landscape of San Diego. It's not just a sport, it's a way of life. I know from my next door neighbors, they all surf and they're up at ungodly hours of the morning out there. They're coming back at ungodly hours and they're done surfing. And so they just absolutely couldn't live without it. I would definitely say Larry Gordon, Floyd Smith, they had a great vision, and it was led by their own personal passion. But they're not alone. Gordon and Smith may have brought foam boards to the San Diego surf community, but Skeeter Malcolm, Point Loma Middle School principal, brought the Aloha to Tourmaline. Skeeter was part of the original Waterman with his buddies Bud Caldwell. Mouse, you're out there? I just saw it. Mouse, he's here. Tells me he's paddleboarding now because he's a young 85, and you know surfing is just a little tough now. Young 85 years old. They were the pioneers in the surfing in the 30s and obviously well into their later years. They were the shoulders that the new surfer stood on when they brought the lightweight foam into. Well, I'm not going to read that now. With the help of Gordon and Smith, these new boards created an explosion in the marketplace, and as you all know, millions and millions of dollars are spent on surfboards, surf attires, traveling to the best surf spot you can find. And Skeeter was admired by all, especially Larry Gordon, and everyone who surfed here was saddened when he left us in the 1990s. So it's hard to imagine, if you can imagine this, a lot of you know this, that surfing was at once outlawed. It was outlawed here in San Diego. I mean, really? You can outlaw the ocean, doing something on the ocean, but yeah, that tells me that San Diego has had struggles. By the way, I didn't introduce myself. Lori Zapp, City Council member. Yeah, so we get to represent this area. And what I was thinking is like, yeah, we suffer with struggles all the time, the mayor can tell you that. But even then, trying to outlaw surfing. So it was the newly formed Wind and Sea Surf Club members who went down to the city council, and they actually were dressed in suits. And they asked for the surfing ban to be lifted on San Diego beaches. Larry was the treasurer of the club at the time, and so the Tourmaline Surf Park was created as a result, and it unified the surfing community all throughout these years. So these two men, Larry Gordon, Skeeter Malcolm, that we are honoring today, were invested in the creation of the park, and we thank and honor them. So with that, I'd now like to introduce Chuck Mannion, who is representing several surfing community groups. Say a few words, Chuck.
Good morning. Thank you all for coming to celebrate this special occasion.
Lift it up.